Hello YouTube. I've got one of these Microphase Z7 Lite development boards. To the disdain of many Redditors and people who are shills of the official Xilinx development boards, people complain that this board is apparently hard to bring up and all that crap. I have not found anyone on the internet that's done it. Well, I just done it. I got it booting in Linux and everything. So it wasn't that bad. I had to change the RAM configuration. That was about it. They've got this guy, this document, and kind of gives you all the stuff you need to know. And they've got the schematic too, and that also tells you some stuff. I didn't really need the schematic. I just used the schematic to get the part number and pasted that into DigiKey or whatever, because they give you like numbers and stuff. It makes it real easy to read. I've got all the bits working, it seems like, I guess. I've tested like at least half the bits of memory, and they seem to work. So I'll go to the Vado here. I had to go in here, the IP block or whatever. You know, I don't have this problem when I'm using the command line. It's fucking waiting all day long for it to show a menu. Anyways, DDR3, I had to do low voltage. This is apparently LPDDR. However, I will warn you, they don't say it's LPDDR on the thing, I don't think. So, like, if you go in the thing here. Okay, they do say it. I'm just dumb. Okay, I never noticed that they said that. But it is LPDDR. I used the RE-125 chip. I don't think that's the exact variant of this chip, but it seems to work. 16-bit bus width, because there's only one of the chips. I was able to push it all the way up to 534 megahertz. No idea if you can do this. I don't know that I care about this or this. Oh, I don't want to check that. Don't check that. I don't know what this does. Again, this... Why would you want to run your chip at 95 degrees Celsius? That does not seem very good for the chip. I'm sure there's reasons, but not good for the chip. If you're running this, you need a cooling solution. So I did put a heat sink on my board. That is one hardware mod I made because it did get kind of hot. But it doesn't get hot when it's booted up. It was only when it was just failing to boot and in an infinite loop because it could not find a serial driver. I don't know why that was going on. I ended up just redoing the entire U-boot configuration. I did go in here and I changed all these numbers. I made all these 0 and all these 0.050. The reason I done that is because it wasn't working and I just started changing things randomly. And when I done that, it seemed to work. So, not going to look into that. DRAM training. I turned all these on. I don't know what they do. Turned them on. Sounded fun. But yeah, this is the configuration you need. And then I'll show you the PS or the PIO. QSpike's here. UART 0's here. And SD0 is here. If you're doing this like low level-ish or whatever, you need to go on like your device tree or whatever, and you probably want to change the UART to UART 0. Because most of the boards use like UART 1. So that might be a problem. And then obviously you'll want to generate those PS7 init files. These things. I'll show you how that's done. You just go here or whatever. Or yeah, or I don't know what. You go here, reset output products, and then generate output products. Hit generate. Copy them over. There's a U-boot menu config. In here, you just give it the path. So, custom PS7 init GPL file and boot on Xilinx Sync SLCs. Really straightforward. But yeah, I mean, that's the crux of board bring up on these things. I'll just show you it boots. Or I'll show you at reboots. That's even better than booting. Shutting down and booting. And as you can see, Zinc ZC7010. And just to demonstrate the memory is working. Jeez, this thing is so slow, dude. There, memory test. We'll do like a bigger address. And then we'll do like a really high-end address. We'll do something kind of in the middle of RAM. As you can see, I'm able to read and write to a bunch of regions of memory, and they're all doing fine. So I would say the memory's working. So yeah, I mean that's board bring up on here. As for like def configs, I think I just used like I used the Zboard def config. I did hack it up a little bit because I've got my own custom buildroot framework thing going on here. But yeah, it's pretty straightforward. I did completely go crazy on the U-boot config, as they had like all this crap enabled in their U-boot config. Xilinx did. Like that Xilinx Zinc virtual def config for U-boot, that thing is cursed. I would never use that on any board. They've got like USB boot and like all this stuff turned on. I don't know what any of that does or why you want it on. I turned like DFU and all that stuff off because it just slows everything down. More problems. This just boots off the SD card. I've not even tried the QSpy. I don't even think it's enabled in my device tree. Is it? No, it's not even enabled in my device tree. It's probably not even enabled in my kernel. But QSpy is probably pretty straightforward. I haven't tested it. I did do a JTAG boot with this build, like going into Hardware Manager, opening the target, that sort of thing. And I tried my FPGA on it, and it's surprising. I got the PL key working. So I will show that real quick. So let's say you want, this is a simple thing I done. I bound PL key 2 to PL LED 2. And I just created like a minimal, or I didn't create this, but Xilinx, their magic stuff created these files. I had to go in here. Oh yeah, pin constraints. That's something you need. Somebody does, there's a lot of pin constraint examples for this board on the interwebs. So I'm not gonna like go into where I got this because there's like 20 examples everywhere. But like you can just search Microphase Z7 Lite XDC, and you'll find like everyone under the sun has their own pin constraints. I modified this file. I commented everything out except for these buttons and stuff, because it gives you like an error if you have an unconnected thing in here. I don't remember if it was an error or critical warning. I just remembered it was dumb and I turned it off. So, I mean, yeah, it is pretty straightforward to do all this. So, I'll go back to here. But, yeah, I mean, that's all the things you need for getting these guys up and running. It really was not that bad. I will make another video for Ethernet. That scares me deep to my core. So, Ethernet, I suspect, will be a nightmare. So, wish me luck on that, I guess. Okay, like, comment, share, subscribe to all your friends who are playing with random Chinese development boards from eBay. They're made using recycled chips. Bye.